All right, folks, and welcome to another fresh out of the box season of Hitting the Hard Court, featuring your favorite sidelines guy. That's me. And on the other side, all the way in the opposite part of the country, you got Jason here. Everyone, welcome back. And I know it's been a long, long hiatus for us and maybe for some of you. And we're finally getting back into the swing of things. It's getting colder for basically most of the nation, unless you're in Southern California. And we're about 4 days removed from the start of the season.
Yep.
I don't know about you, but I'm excited to miss a lot of games due to my work schedule. Load NBA Pass. Shouts out to all the DVRs out there. Y'all the real MVP.
Seriously.
Speaking of getting into this season, I don't know if any of you actually slept through the Olympics for a little bit until Australia woke them up, or if you slept through the summer league, or if you're watching any of the preseason. But Kevin Durant has officially scored some of his first points as a Golden State Warrior, and the big story now is what now? Can this team that's been put together actually lose? And I personally think that is not going to be a 60-win team this season. I'm just going to put that out there right now. And this is not coming as a Lakers fan. This is coming as a fan of basketball. And we've seen it time and time again where superb teams have been put together. The big threes of like Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce, and Rajon Rondo took a while to gel, although they had a great coach in Doc Rivers. You had down in Miami where you had Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, and LeBron James put together, and it took them a whole off season to get their stuff together. Great players get put together, but it doesn't always gel. So I got to ask you, Jason, what do you think? Over under 60 wins? You see the Warriors. How? I mean, we'll get your feelings later about Durant not being a Thunderite anymore, but. What do you think? Golden State Warriors, are they going to take it all, or are they going to get through some struggles, or what do you see?
It's funny because I just tweeted out about 45 minutes ago. If you're going to beat Golden State, you're going to beat them at the rim because there's no protection. Over under 60 wins, I'm going to go over. I'm going to go about 62 wins because they're thin up front with Pachulia, David West, JaVale McGee, stuff like that. Other than that, there's nobody there. Your guy Festus is gone, Mo Buckets is gone, uh, Andrew Bogut is gone. So their real rim protectors are gone, and this team will have to outscore you because they can't defend you anymore. I mean, you got, Kevin. Kevin was, he's a 3-4 time scoring champ. He's an MVP. And, that part of it is great, but Kevin hasn't really been known as a defender. Now, mind you, I've been watching some highlights of him play here and there. And what's weird is that he's doing more defending here, because he wants to, than I've ever seen him do in Oklahoma City. Last season, he was getting a couple blocks here and there. He would get a block or two, but now he's like literally aggressively attacking defenders, which is
You would
interesting.
think that he is required to, because you pointed it out already. The thin up front, Kevin Durant's actually a natural four coming out of the University of Texas.
True.
And if any of y'all remember that he did make Big 12 Defensive Player of the Year one season. So it's no surprise that he has the ability to defend. What I question is, as you pointed out, they traded decent defense at the rim for more offense, and was a big factor in how teams won or lost last season. And despite the fact that you had a 73-win team in the Golden State Warriors, they still had a lesser scoring margin than the San Antonio Spurs, who were there in second place. So I question personally if they can actually even maybe getting a 2 seed this season, simply because, as you pointed out, they're going to be attacked on the inside. And I don't think it's a small ball thing. They've gotten a lot more height in overall, but they have essentially gotten slower, new additions, and
Older.
they've also given up scoring efficiency. They're going to have to go from this great jump shooting, rangy team to playing some more of a traditional offense. Luke Walton's no longer there at assistant coach, so there's no more of a Wildcat West Coast offense available. Question if they can actually hit 62 or 63. I'm not sure that Kevin Durant's going to be so much more of an asset than he will be a liability, just like he was in Oklahoma City.
What's funny is they talk about Russell Westbrook and Kevin Durant getting along, and they talked about how Kevin Durant got tired of standing in the corner waiting for the 3-point shot from Russell Westbrook. What makes it weird is that he's now third option on the team, where he will probably be doing the same exact thing. He won't be in the corner this time, he'll probably be at the top of the key. He's going to be, Steph Curry's a better shooter. Klay Thompson's a great shooter. He's a great shooter, but it's like he's going to be third banana or third option, whatever you want to call it. He's their third. That's a heck of a play. They just threw a lob to him off an inbound play. The one thing I'll say is Steve Kerr is going to utilize him in a great way, but I still feel as though that he's going to be stuck in a corner somewhere.
I think that after the convincing factor for Kevin Durant was that we got a great way to utilize you, but you will be third banana. Come on, man.
Yeah, I mean, third banana, if you look at it, he got to learn the offense. There's going to be points in times where they're going to have to give him, he's going to have free range to do whatever. One of them is going to average 24, 25. One of them will average 21. The other will average about 17. And then you got Draymond Green.
You talk about the trio of Thompson,
yep,
Curry, and Durant
yep.
now.
Yep.
Okay, hold on for just a minute. Okay, you're saying that Kevin Durant is not only going to be third banana, his scoring is going to depreciate, and they're going to ask him to defend more. So you're saying that Kevin Durant signed on for a year with another year option to be a role player.
I'm saying that, and this is just something, this isn't from a hurt Oklahoma City Thunder fan. This is just from someone who, I think I know a little bit about basketball. Durant is their number one option. You know what I mean? He's there. If you want to be honest, what's the word I want to use? He's their hired gun. He's their hired gun for the season. Because if they don't win a title, they got to worry about re-signing Steph, which will probably be quite easy. And, of course, Kevin Durant will opt back in for a second year. But somebody's going to get less shots. And KD is used to getting to the line 9, 10, 11, 12 times a game. And, okay, cool. Let's say that KD's shots don't fall off. And he's leading them in scoring. That means that Steph's going to get less shots. That means that it may leave him a little bit more healthy. It may leave Klay a little bit more healthy. But I think that
what you're describing, though, and what you said sound like two different things to me. It sounds like KD is going to be numero uno option. They're going to run all offense through him. Players like Klay and Draymond will definitely see less reps there, which is understandably so because Klay, unfortunately, has always played second banana ever since about 3 years in. He's played second banana to Steph. And Steph is not giving up any shots, considering that he's 3-point champion right now and record holder for 3 points anyway. Draymond definitely got no business being out on the 3-point line anymore, consistently playing on the interior. So
Steph hasn't been known as a passer either, though. Steph hasn't been known as a passer. So now, they move. You have to give them credit. They move the ball, but think about it. They move the ball to get who a shot, to get Steph a shot, to get Steph off of a double screen or a 1-4 high for, a shot. Now you're going to have Steph move the ball to get KD a shot off of a stagger screen or, their favorite elevator screen for Steph. Someone is going to have to give up some points, and it's going to be Steph's going to have to become a true point guard now, something that they wanted Westbrook to be. something that, a lot of guys, in order to have a Kevin Durant is an alpha. He's an alpha dog. He's an alpha man. He's a Kobe. He's a LeBron. He's a Shaq. He's your number one scorer. I think Steph scores because he has to. Steph is good. Don't get me wrong. He's a great shooter. But now you're going to need him to be a point guard because he's going to have to set his guys up. He can become even more deadly if he does it, but,
well, now that we got welcome to the stage, Mickey, you coming on and bringing your voice. I think we could get a third opinion on this, and we're talking about the big story that is Durant to the Warriors. And right now we're talking a little bit about what role the Warriors have for Durant, the change in the overall team, and furthermore, the options that are there now. Is Kevin Durant a first option for you, or is he lesser than with this move?
Right now, I think he's the number one. Before it's looking more like Clay, Draymond, 1, 2, 3. I think now it goes probably KD, Steph, then maybe look inside for a big man, kind of shake it up with a different look. I think KD is a power move right now. I think he's just in the preseason, he's kind of dominated at the 3 and the dunk. Obviously, 3 steps down the court, and he's in the lane. But I think KD's option number 1 until he proves that he's not what they were looking for.
That is interesting. I don't know. I think flat out, if you ask the almost like the co-MVP or former scoring champ of the league to come to your organization, and you give up that many supporting cogs in your entire system, you are planning to make him the part of your plan. I don't know. I'm a chess man. I don't give up a bunch of pawns, a bunch of bishops, and maybe a couple of knights just to sacrifice for maybe an upgraded rook, maybe even the queen. No, I'm gonna go for gusto. I want your best piece. Okay, there's no possible way that you can give up all that and then tell him, by the way, your third banana.
I mean, but then again, how do you tell your 2-time MVP, hey, we got a guy coming in here who is an MVP as well. He's a 3-4-time scoring champ, and he's going to take some of your shots.
I got 3 words for you. Be a leader. Done deal. It's not going to be about the shots. This is still your team, but we got to score right now. You mentioned it earlier. Kevin Durant is a hired gun, okay? But guns need to be fired by somebody. That soldier needs to be put on the ground. So you tell Steph Curry, hey, be a leader. This is your team. You tell them when and where to shoot.
Yeah.
I don't doubt that, because KD might be a 3-4-time scoring champ, but I never had a guy that pushed him around more than he cares to admit. So I think this is still Steph's team 100%.
So, I mean, with it being Steph's team 100%, which I agree with, which makes me look at it as he being Kevin Durant is at least number 2 on this on the food chain here, because it's Steph's team. It's Steph's team, and with Steph being the point guard, Steph decides who shoots the ball. Steph who decides who gets the ball. There are going to be times coming down the court. I'm watching the game now. He's like looking to pass the ball. He's getting across half court, and he's just pulling up. Durant's in a corner, and it looks so familiar because now it's a jacked up 3. With Westbrook, it was a drive to the lane with Durant still with his hand in the air. Now this is just 3. And now with him having a great shooter like Steph Curry on his team, it's going to be a made 3. So it's going to be like, you know what? Okay, cool. He made the 3. He didn't see me this time. Maybe he'll catch me next time. 3. Another 3.
Yes,
oh, look. This time he went to Clay. He didn't go to me. I'm still open. 3.
Yeah, man. but I think at some point you're going to realize that Harrison Barnes is no longer sitting in your corner, and you've got the four-time over there hitting threes, and you don't got this just going to drive and put up a floater or get blocked. I think it's going to take a learning curve, but
after a no-show from basically January of this year all the way through the playoffs, I'm sure a lot of people are like, thank God, I ain't got to pass it to that guy no more. Because he's had, like, Harrison Barnes had one games where he scored 15 and was relevant this season. And I know there were a lot of things going on as far as, like, him transitioning more into a role player. He was being utilized less into the starting lineup. He actually gained weight in order to kind of complement the abuse on his body from playing defense so hard. That overall, the whole scheme of things was like, man, we need someone that can actually hit a 15-foot jump shot from the elbow or something like that. He's getting way too many wide open looks and not making them for an NBA player. They're basically
that's why he's joining the team of relevance where he's got Darren over there.
Yeah, that team is rather irrelevant. That sucks.
Yeah.
But for his troubles, he got $94 million.
Mark Cuban's got money to blow.
He does. The league tries to limit how much money he can blow, but we can get into that in another podcast because oh my gosh, we need to talk about some contracts. I'm wearing a hat of a team that I'm still kind of questioning a couple of contracts. We just signed. Yeah, we're going to get into that in an entire different episode. But for now, we're actually going to jump conferences and defending champs. Right now, one of possible two representative champions of the land. Shouts out to the Cleveland Indians for doing their thing and getting to the World Series. But back-to-back? Yeah or nay?
No.
I don't think I got back-to-back, but shout out to my hometown Blue Jays for striking out as many times as possible there. That was way to give it to Believe Land.
And then you guys are gonna lose Edwin and Bobby Batista, man.
Bring her the flight home, but that's okay. They can. Wasn't what I was expecting, but I mean, what are you gonna do?
I mean, I look at Cleveland and I feel like they are. I mean, and you know, the funny thing is, I said it last year. They're old and they can't do it. Then they make short use of Detroit. From Detroit, who they play after Detroit? They played I don't remember their second round opponent, but basically they got to Toronto.
Miami.
Miami. They played Miami, and they made it. It was just weird watching them just run through the East like they did. And I mean, I want to say that they'll be back-to-back champs, but the West got better. You know, if you really want to be honest, Golden State's a really good team, and they literally got Kevin Durant with revenge on their mind for blowing a 3-1 lead. You know, I'm not going to be quick to talk about blowing a 3-1 lead because Oklahoma City did something similar. So I'm not going to do the whole you got 3-1 lead, but it was just more of like what do you call it? Cleveland didn't get much better. They re-signed J.R. Smith. You got LeBron back. Everybody got better, but they got a little bit older. They didn't get anybody better. Mo Williams retired. Delly left. Who's going to back up your guy? Who's going to get take off some time for Kyrie when he needs a blow?
Well, if you really think about it, if you get rid of Dellavedova and Mozgov's gone now, and I mean, if you
Richard
really
Jefferson left also too, right?
Yes, you kind of improved. You got better by losing people.
I mean, that's true, but you're going to basically put a lot more strain on your big guys. Kevin Love, he's going to, they need someone who's going to come off the bench and give them buckets.
They do, but at the same time, was this a team that really depended on buckets? They got hot, yes. J.R. Smith had that 3-point shooting contest with himself at one game during the
True.
the Eastern Conference Finals. But we're talking about a team that never point in time in their entire season depended on how many points they scored. It was always
No,
about
they look
shut
like
down.
a throwback San Antonio team getting older but getting wiser. I mean, it looks like Timmy D right there with LeBron, except, of course, they play a different brand of basketball, but it's the same concept right there.
Mhm.
You might get
That's
older,
a good point.
but you still got young guys that can run and gun, right? I mean, like every single year, even this year. I mean, they got Kawhi running the show, right? And when you're the best defender in the league, you got a chance. And LeBron showed last year in the finals. I mean, just put a block of Draymond or the block in the preseason here. He's not going anywhere.
Yeah, you make a good point there. They did they got wiser, and unfortunately, the one thing I have to give to Greg Popovich is that he knows how to go 8-9 deep in the bench. I mean, in the playoffs, what other coach is using Boris Diaw? You know what I mean? What other coach is using, I forgot the other guy's name who plays for them. You know what I mean? Or the 7-3 dude who doesn't play for them anymore. You know, these are guys these are guys that basically through the regular season, this is where you give Greg Popovich credit. Popovich uses his guys. He goes 9-10 deep on his roster through the entire season. So when he needs you in the playoffs, you're ready.
So what I'm hearing is that even with the great utilization of players and with the comparisons to a formerly biannual championship team, you don't think that the Cavaliers have the capability or the firepower to win another championship this season?
No.
I don't think so. I don't think it's there. I mean, you look at the Spurs, and you got a guy like Simmons, who I liked to watch last year because he came off the street, and Pops threw him in the playoffs, and he produced. And it wasn't just throw up wild shots. This guy knew how to run the system. The fact that you can bring in guys off the street and have them ready to play hardcore ball shows why you're not Oklahoma City. You don't want to bring in Kyle Singler off the bench. Sure, he might have played in the NBA a few years, but
come on.
He throws up shade, and
Shots
you blow a
fired.
3-1 lead.
Oh my gosh.
I don't know.
I mean, I guess he makes a good point. I can't lie. You make a good point. Pop knows how to utilize. But that's why I say that they don't repeat, because Tyronn Lue doesn't know how to utilize. Tyronn Lue isn't going. He's not putting his arm elbow deep into the bag and pulling out. This guy. Go run the show. LeBron needs a breather. Go get in there and get me a couple buckets. J.R. Smith got hot. J.R. Smith is streaky. Kyrie Irving is streaky. Kevin Love is now a 3-point. He's a stretch 4 now. It was a point in time where Kevin Love was 2015 in Minnesota.
Let's run that back real quick. You said Kyrie Irving is streaky, but Kyrie Irving was streaky from 2 weeks before the playoffs all the way to the last game-winning shot. I don't call that streaky. I call that good.
So if that's the case, then if he's good, then hasn't that been J.R. Smith his entire career? Sometimes J.R. Smith will hit, sometimes J.R. Smith will miss.
But that's J.R. Smith.
Kyrie has been this streaky his entire career since he's been in the league. He's just now beginning to get the praise.
You gotta look just a little bit deeper into the Eastern Conference, who I think are back again, which is hometown Raptors. You want to look at streaky, talk about DeRozan.
I like DeRozan.
They're the streak right there.
Yeah, super streaky. Completely hot. 1 or 2 games. Completely shuts himself out for the rest of the series. No one knows why. Maybe.
But DeRozan hates going to the rim, though. Because DeRozan's, 6'7"? Why aren't you getting to the rim to get to the free throw line? To rack up your points.
He's playing at Toronto.
You can put a poster up. You can't run into the rim every play because you're going to get blocked.
Oh yeah, definitely. But I mean, he's not a superstar, but he's a guy who can get the calls. He's a guy who can get the whistle.
That can get the whistle.
And I look at it as in the sense of they're screaming they'll never make it to the finals because they're a jump shooting team. Yeah, DeRozan is a jump shooter. It's a lot of guys that they're playing in the league that I just wish would go to the rim more. And he's one, and Rudy Gay's another guy. Rudy Gay is so talented. Why are you selling for the jump shot? You're 6'8". Go to the rim. I mean, even when he was in Memphis, get to the rim.
Getting shopped again.
I wouldn't doubt it.
They were talking about sending him to Miami for Goran Dragic.
That would be
Dragic is another trade piece.
If you want somebody to go, if you want to go get a guard, if you're any team in the guard, go to Phoenix. Phoenix has all the guards. Go get Eric Bledsoe. Go get Brandon Knight. Go get you a guard. Go get you a good guard.
Go get Devin Booker.
You can't have Devin Booker.
Preseason leader in scoring right now, by the way, over James Harden.
He's a monster.
So moving
James
on.
Harden's always been a scoring machine.
We're gonna talk about speaking of predictions and things that might happen, that should happen. We're looking a little bit reflective. We're going into the 2016-2017 season. Last season we had some great things happen. Golden State hitting 73. Cleveland finally winning a championship and getting the monkey off the back. What other great stories were there? The retirement of Kobe Bryant, and this year the retirement of Tim Duncan,
Kevin Garnett,
a lot of
Elton Brand.
Good old Elton.
We gotta talk about what's going to happen this season. And so just right off the top of your head, what's going to be the biggest story for you this season? Let's start with you, Jason. What's the biggest story?
I mean, it's a homer story, but it's Russell Westbrook getting his own team now. He had 18 triple doubles last season. And I'm looking through Twitter, my timeline. People are going over under 25 triple doubles. I'm going under 25 triple doubles, but I honestly can say, that we're going to miss Kevin Durant a lot, but I think this team can still win 50 games. It might not be for much, but I still think they can win 50 games. So my big story of the year will be Russell Westbrook, and what if he can be a leader and get 50 games out of these guys.
Russell Westbrook, 50 games.
Yeah.
I don't know what you were on before you got on this podcast, but Russell Westbrook is not going to carry that team for 50 games.
He led them to 45 the year Kevin Durant got the Jones fracture. He led them within one game. He led them within one game of the playoffs. So if he can get 45 out of them, knowing that that Durant was in and out, I think knowing that Durant is gone for good, he can get 50 games out of those dudes.
This is a different team, though.
It's a better team. I mean, I'm going to miss Serge. I'm going to miss Kevin, but I think he's going to be able to get. He can coax 50 games out of those guys.
Put a pin in that one, and we gotta for that prediction. Just for this one alone, you have to wear a Golden State Durant jersey, even if it's a fake one. Like, you have to put Durant is my hero with a Golden State sign on the front if 50 with Westbrook. That's how confident I am that they're not going to do that. Huge story, yes. Impossible.
It's a bold prediction. He got 45. I think that the one thing I'll look at is the coaching. If Billy Donovan is willing to, I mean, Mickey said it earlier. You let Singler shoot threes instead of making that Singler substitution. Put Amo in. Anthony Morrow is a dead-eye shooter, and he can get you 12 easy. He can get you 12 just by saying.
I don't think they got the defense to win 50 games. I mean, Russ is a grab type defender, so he's going to come up with a lot of steals, but he's going to commit a lot of fouls. I think they got anybody else now that they don't got shopping in the middle.
If Golden State can barely hit 63 with their squad, how do you have? We're just gonna put a pin in that. And, oh my gosh. Okay, OKC with 50 wins.
I'm gonna go 50 wins. I was gonna say between 47 and 50. I'm gonna stick with 50. I'm gonna say they can go for 50 wins.
I'll tell you what. I'll get a fake tattoo and put it across my forehead and do a podcast at the end of this season with OKC as my number one team, and I will get a fade with the cut here with the OKC symbol on the side of my head, messed up or not, and I will wear it if they get 50.
They're going
Okay?
to surprise a lot of teams. I'm telling you. Like the one thing that OKC's been known for has been running through the Eastern Conference. They have a stretch here in November where they get like 4, 5, 6 straight games on the East. They're going to basically get hot. I mean, Victor Oladipo is no Durant whatsoever, but Victor Oladipo can take a little bit of pressure off of Russ. They'll be an okay defensive backcourt. I don't know who's going to be at the small forward. Some say Robinson, some say Singler. I don't, if you put Roberson at the back and at the 3. He's going to be able to defend at 6'9", at 6'8". He's going to be able to defend, a few small forwards. He can't. No one can defend Durant, But there are teams out there where it's like, we got 2 big men. We got Cantor coming off the bench. They got I doubt Sabonis will do anything because he's young. He's a rookie. But I like to do. And I hate. It's kind of weird to say it, but Ersan Ilyasova could possibly give 11, 12 points a night, and that will be okay.
Mickey, please save this podcast right now. Tell me what.
All right, I'm going to throw it up there. I've got shout out to Dame Dolla before we do this. Listen to his whole Fire album today.
Loved it.
I'm going to give Portland 48 wins, top 6 in the West.
Okay, that's a good prediction. I don't know, bold. That's good. That's a bold prediction.
They got McCollum and they got Lillard spring. And you got guys like Evan Turner coming in and Alan Crabb and I want to say Aminu defense, and I think they're going to be a fire team.
Sacramento Kings make the 6th seed in the playoffs.
That's bigger than saying that Oklahoma City's going to win 50 games.
6th seed.
A 6th seed. You could have said 8.
Yeah, could have said that they snuck in. But. And here are my 3 reasons why. The East is more competitive now, which is going to make your 50 very hard. Keep in mind that there were 9 teams. There is basically 9 teams that could have made the playoffs in the East based on record alone. Houston got in on a tiebreaker. Okay, a tiebreaker. They were 41-41 and got in on a tiebreaker over Utah. There would have been 9 East Coast teams in the playoffs. Is that because those teams are more competitive, that takes away from the records in the West from being so high. If we're talking about Golden State winning 63, I'm saying they're going to win less than 60. But if we're talking that number of wins, that obviously means that more wins is needed to get into the playoffs. So that means that the bottom 3, the 6, 7, and 8 seed, are going to be up for grabs. Somewhat of a 3-way tie, somewhere in the mix, is going to be Sacramento.
Yeah,
Sacramento and Phoenix are going to be in there.
Oh yeah, no doubt. I think Boogie leads that team in with no Rondo to scrap with every other play.
Yeah, he no longer has Rondo. He has to deal with a drunk. What was that, Raymond Felton? Not Raymond Felton. Ty Lawson. Has to do with a drunk Ty Lawson and a can't shoot Derek Collison. If you want your Sacramento Kings to win to get the 6th seed, go trade Rudy Gay or Ben McLemore.
They're not
get
to
a point guard.
Wins.
They're going to point guard.
6th seed. Whatever.
See, I think what happened last season with the aberration. When's the last time a 500 team made the 8th seed in the Western Conference? How long has it been? It's been a long time.
The Lakers did it.
Well, how long ago was that?
It was like 3-4 years ago. They barely got in, and that was a Kobe Achilles injury game or something like that.
Okay, cool. I'm trying to think, like, is that, because the West usually has your bottom 8, your 6, 7, 8. A lot of them got to win 47 games at least. Yeah, if you reseed it and put them in the East, they'd be 4 or 5 seeds.
Well, part of it also was scheduling. If you think about it, you had 2 things. You had the Warriors basically destroying everyone for the first part of the season, and then you had scheduling issues where back to backs on interesting like Central and then like an East Coast game or vice versa, where it was going like Northwest and then somewhere in the Southwest. Weird scheduling things, road trips got to teams last year, and I think that it was a very early injury year for some teams, and because more of the East Coast teams were a lot healthier, that made it all the more competitive. And I don't know, you say it's an aberration. I just think that the East is getting more competitive. Shouts out to LeBron James for bringing back the East Coast. Now, I was talking about last season how we got to kind of reflect, and we've been talking about records and 1 through 8 teams on both sides. Who do you have still in out of the top 8 in the West? You have Golden State, San Antonio, Portland. You have Los Angeles.
Clippers.
Yeah, Los Angeles Clippers, just to clarify. You don't need to throw the moniker on there. Everyone knows that the Lakers weren't getting to the playoffs. Like, you guys all know they went the Clippers right in the playoffs. Not Dallas,
Oklahoma City,
and
I don't have Memphis or Houston coming back.
You don't have Memphis or Houston coming back? I don't have Memphis or Houston coming back either.
I don't have Houston coming back, but I think Memphis could squeak in there.
I mean, you want to talk about a team?
I don't know. Conley looks a little lost.
Yeah, he's lost in all the money he has. He like, what was it? The name of that show, DuckTales, where Scrooge McDuck had that whole vault full of money he would go swimming in. That's what Conley does every morning before he goes to practice.
With his big old beard and his goofy smile, just sitting
exactly,
there.
just like I got so much money. Okay, let's go to practice. You know what, guys? Screw it. Practice is at my house.
Let's go dive in this money real quick.
Exactly.
We're just gonna ball out in the backyard before practice. We got it.
If he can come back healthy, Chandler Parsons could be a great addition to that team. But he has to get back healthy.
Shout out to the new cap, the new salary cap for the season.
In the words of Jalen Rose, keep getting them checks.
Getting them checks.
Cut the
check. So does everyone else?
Jalen Rose says quite a few things, but if we're going to mention Jalen Rose on this show, shout out to Our Hot Dogs a Sandwich, because they most certainly are, Jalen.
So Golden State stays in. I didn't hear Dallas out.
No, Dallas is out.
San Antonio's still in.
Dallas.
San Antonio. I don't think they miss a step. People are talking about how great Tim Duncan was leadership wise, and no disrespect to Tim Duncan, he's amazing. He's the best power forward in the league. But I think that IQ wise, Pau Gasol is going to do okay with LaMarcus Aldridge.
Man, you got Gasol and you got Aldridge up on the high post and low post, and then you've got guys like Tony Parker still running the show. Tony Parker didn't go anywhere, right? Neither did Ginobili. He might be old, but he's got the knowledge. Kawhi Leonard's the best defender in the league, and you look at their bench, they've got the best Greek guys in the league. Danny Green, David Lee, if he can stay healthy, can be a healthy addition off the bench. Mm-hmm. My man Simmons coming off the street, and he just comes in and plays some street ball. He can get nasty in there, and that San Antonio team is not going to miss a beat.
Yeah, I don't see San Antonio missing too much of a beat either. That's true. I mean, you're running a system. You're running a system that pulls Tim Duncan out and then puts Pau Gasol in. Pau Gasol is just as good of a passer. He's a better scorer now. At their advanced age, he's a pretty good scorer. He's very savvy around the rim. He's tough. I like Gasol's toughness. He's never really backed down. He's not his brother, but he's never really backed down from, a challenge. And you put him beside a LaMarcus Aldridge. The only thing you're missing, you want to hope that LaMarcus Aldridge is willing to play on the inside a little bit, because LaMarcus Aldridge has a sweet jump shot, but you got to be able to go inside and get a couple buckets. We need you to go down low.
So who's in now? We have five teams now. Now Dallas is out. So who's in?
I would say I mean I'll take a flyer on on Sacramento. Somebody has to go though. Somebody has to go.
Yeah, I'll take Sacramento going in.
Minnesota
in.
Hell yeah, I got Minnesota going in right now wearing that Wolves t-shirt.
I don't see them winning 50, but yeah.
That Wolves team is going to pick it up. As bad as Sam Mitchell is as a coach, that team is going to throw up shade. Shout out homeboy Anthony Bennett as he brought that team together. But
shout out to Anthony Bennett.
More to liking is going to be Andrew Wiggins, and you're adding in Cat, and then you got guys to run the show. And as much as I hate Rubio, he's got that point guard skill for the passing and the dribbling. He might not be able to shoot, but he can distribute.
So Utah or Portland? Not Portland, but Phoenix. Utah or Phoenix?
I go Utah.
Utah.
I go Utah.
Gordon Hayward catches fire.
Gordon Hayward, and then you got Joe Johnson come off the bench, who I don't think Joe Johnson will be 60. He would never lose that jump shot.
Well, you still have who was it? Rudy Gobert.
Mm-hmm.
That's coming off of an injury. Someone just got injured in Utah.
Hayward did. Hayward will be out for about 8 weeks with the finger. So insert Joe Johnson.
What I think we got to insert if we're talking about Memphis here is that Vince Carter said he will compete in the dunk competition again if he gets invited. And I think that man at 41 is going to kill everybody.
That would be fun.
I'll put my
Vince Carter versus
the field
and Aaron Gordon.
Oh, Aaron Gordon is just...
I wouldn't want Vince Carter to ruin what could be a budding rivalry between Superman and Superman. I don't want to say Superman and Batman because
Vince Carter just be the old guy in there giving us what we want. Like we all know what we want. We want to see LeBron. LeBron isn't going to give us that. Go. So the next best thing will be Vince Carter.
So that one, okay. So 1 through 8, Golden State, Antonio,
check.
Yep.
Portland,
check.
Who's number 4?
Clippers. I think you got to swap that. I think the Clippers will be number 3.
Clippers by default.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, they've been doing some. Blake Griffin and DeAndre Jordan have been doing some great footwork with Kevin Garnett this offseason.
Kevin Garnett could never teach DeAndre Jordan anything.
Other than how to shoot a free throw, even
worse.
Other
than how to talk trash.
You say that, and then DeAndre Jordan hit a couple of great hook shots over the preseason. I'm telling you, they've been working on their footwork. But is it by default or just they are that good during the season that they get the 3 seed? Do they earn it, or do they just fall to the 3 or the 4 seed? I have them at 4, maybe 5.
I'll give them 4 or 5, but they'll get there because the one thing that the Clippers have been bitten by is injuries. Blake gets hurt, CP gets hurt, Reddick gets hurt. I mean, but then again, it's also like they're not really that good, and I think that because they're not that good, you in turn may look to trade Blake. If you trade Blake, you got it because think about it. You trade Blake, and you get something young in return. Chris Paul probably won't resign this summer. I'm not saying he'll go to Cleveland, but Chris Paul won't be coming back.
So it's an all or nothing situation.
It's an all or nothing for them this year. Like I think they're on the Western Conference. There's no team that has more pressure on them than the Clippers, because you guys have been playing together for almost the longest. Other than San Antonio, they've been playing the longest together, and Blake, he hasn't produced. People are calling him one of the best power forwards. He can be top 5. He'll be number 5 power forward, but he isn't the best power forward because he hasn't produced.
So due to skill and high energy and all desperation, Clippers get 3 seed. So that knocks Portland down to a salty 4 seed. And then we have the rest of the league, where Oklahoma City sits somewhere in that mix. We got Sacramento in. We have
Minnesota.
in Utah, and you guys are sure it's going to be Utah because I got Phoenix in.
I'm going Minnesota.
Well, Minnesota's a lock too. We're just not sure about the order.
Phoenix got to get rid of a guard to get in, because if they can get rid of a guard, they can get like a go-to. I mean, the trade could possibly be get rid of a guard and go get Rudy Gay.
They did. They got rid of the Morris twins. Sorry about it.
that just, I mean, yeah.
Moving on to the East Coast. So you got the defending champs coming back. Toronto has a great season coming off of a very disappointing in the sense that they didn't put more of a foot to the throats of Cleveland kind of ending. But yeah, Toronto coming in at the 2 seed, and then you have the rest of the league.
Boston?
Rest of the league. That's what we're going to call it. The rest of the Eastern Conference, because no one cares. Dwayne Wade's in Chicago. No one cares about Miami anymore. Chris Bosh is gone from Miami. No one cares about Miami anymore. I'm going to keep going over that. No one cares about Miami anymore. Detroit made it in as an 8 seed. It was sort of like the New Orleans of last year, when they went got hot and then played against and got swept by the Golden State Warriors. Swept by the Golden State Warriors in the first round. But anyway, you got Detroit, Boston, whoever else was there. And I say whoever else is not as if I don't know, but it's just not that important. But the question is, who's in, who's out?
So we got 2 teams in guaranteed, or 3 teams on the East guaranteed. At least 3 teams.
Chicago.
No.
Cleveland. Chicago. Yes, Chicago, Cleveland, Boston. Those 3 teams are in.
Toronto.
You think Toronto's an in for sure?
Toronto won 56 last season.
Toronto's
you don't just win 56 and not. You know what I mean? And they did it a lot of it without DeMarre Carroll. They'll win. They'll get back. I think Toronto will be number 2 again. I mean, they were 1 game behind Cleveland for being the number 1 seed. So you kind of got to give them the benefit of the doubt. We don't like that they shoot a lot of jump shots. DeMar Rosen isn't as aggressive as we want him to be, but they're number 2 seed. I'm going to go on a limb and say New York. New York is too talented not to get in. Sorry. New York is too talented not to get in. They
full of surprises today.
I mean, come on, man. Derrick Rose, Melo, Kristaps Porzingis, Joakim Noah. I mean, honestly, you can get if you're gonna put those guys all on one team, it's gonna take some pressure off of Melo, and they can get at least 42 wins. They can get 42.
You're not in your head though, at Jason, like you agree with him, and you have New York in as well. No. Don't just nod your head. I want to hear you say it. Yes, I agree with Jason. The New York Knicks are going to be in the playoffs this season.
It's cool, Mick. I got you, man. We're here.
I think we got Mick. We got Mick shook, or he's got mic problems. Whichever it is, I'm sorry. I wholeheartedly disagree. The New York Knicks are not going to be part of this year's playoffs.
Can I just give you one side note here? I've been watching this game over here. Kevin Durant has hit 7 threes in a row. He just is coming down, pulling from wherever he wants to, doing whatever he feels. He just hit like 7 threes in a row.
Well, it's Oracle Arena. I mean,
he has 26, 7, and 5.
They do great statistics. They do great stuff with computers, and you're in you're in a great tech area, just the edge of the tech bubble. So they got machines in the balls. Anyone can shoot threes over there.
I already hate them. I already hate them. This is unfair.
It's just gonna be like pick one. Their center's probably gonna come down and start shooting threes at one point. It's not gonna matter if someone gets hot. It's just threes. I'm still stuck on. Don't try to take away from the fact that you just said New York is going to be in the playoffs.
I mean, you said pick somebody in the East. I picked New York. I threw a dart. Good thing I didn't say Brooklyn. I'm pretty sure that the 3 of us can go get dressed, fly out to Brooklyn, and we could possibly make the opening 15. I'm pretty sure I'm good for like 8 minutes. I'm good for 8.
Easy.
I will only give you that simply because you picked Detroit to make the playoffs last season, and they did.
Didn't say they would do great, but I just said they would make it.
And you rightfully did that.
New York has a bunch of stars in that team. Cool. They're not stars. Melo's not going to get hurt this year. Derrick Rose will possibly take some of the burden off of his hands. Courtney Lee will get a couple buckets, but I can see them challenging at least for a 4-5 seed with 44, 45 wins. I mean,
the level of suspect on that team should have them watched by the NSA and the FBI all at the same time, and the CIA.
All right,
that's how suspect that team is.
We know who we did not put in there. Indiana. Indiana's squad is going to be nice this year. Indiana's going to be nice.
Indiana should make it.
Indiana could possibly compete for a 3 seed, maybe even a 2 seed. They got really good.
Their biggest problem has always been injury.
Well, I'm looking at PG, Monta, and Jeff Teague. They also got Thaddeus Young. They also signed somebody else, but I'm not. They signed Big Al. So that team is going to be pretty good. On paper, they're pretty good. I'm looking at them possibly being a 2-3 seed, maybe.
Atlanta,
oh crap! I forgot.
Atlanta, under or over 500.
Can I say at?
I think that's the whole part of the bet because it's a push.
All right, fine. I'll go over.
Mick, how we doing over there? What you got? Mick we're still experiencing technical difficulties with Mick, but he'll get back to us in just a moment. I got under, and sadly enough, this may be one of the last seasons that we see Dwight Howard in an NBA uniform. He's going home. The chicken's coming to roost. All the animals are coming. And Dwight Howard's going to be exposed for the lack of a player that he is. And I don't want to take anything away from him as a player overall, because he has been, he will always be a great player.
Basically, what you're saying is that we're going to see him being security at the Lenox Mall, making $90 million because they're going to let him go. He's going to be the security guard at the mall.
His health has completely debilitated him over the last few seasons. It was a kind of a Shaquille O'Neal like curse when he decided to leave Orlando and go to Los Angeles. I said it, didn't want him here. Still kind of upset that we had that 1 year to try to get him. We moving on for that. I think that he has debilitated to a point where he is no better than Mozgov.
Jesus Christ.
Post injured, and that's saying a lot because Mozgov, I mean, he's a pretty big beast in the middle, but Dwight Howard's supposed to be a lot more mobile.
Mozgov has fallen. He has fallen on hard times. This is a man who scored at one point in time 93 points and 29 rebounds in one game. This guy clearly has fallen on hard. When he's being compared to Dwight Howard, boy, have times really changed.
You can't speak of 93 points like it was a real thing. 93 points was. Never mind. That's not important.
Mozgov is going to give this city so much. He's going to give them so much to talk about, and it's not going to be in a good way.
We're gonna wrap the show up in just a few moments, but just final words, guys. Any thoughts on big bold predictions of the season, stories that you will like to talk about in the future? Anything?
Is your mic working yet, Mick? Oh, yeah. Nah, his mic isn't working. I guess
you're gonna have to sign it to us.
Yeah. The only one I can think of is it's underrated, and I've been looking at people on Twitter like get behind it. This whole Giannis Antetokounmpo thing of him playing the point guard, it's not going to work. I mean, watching him come up the court a few times here and there, play the point guard is cool. That's cool. Him dishing, but they need a real point guard out there. Getting rid of Michael Carter Williams is nice, but you didn't get a point guard in return because you're believing too much in the point guard that you think you have. I'm not buying that whole thing in Milwaukee. Get rid of Monroe. Go get you a point guard.
Biggest story that I will be following isn't going to be the Lakers. I'll be following the Lakers, but as far as the biggest story, it's going to be the barometer or the temperature of the locker room of the Los Angeles Clippers. As we've all said and we've all noticed that it is a ticking time bomb, and eventually that whole thing's going to fall apart. It is going to be a question of what's going to happen and when, not an if.
They start underachieving, you're going to hear the trade rumors about Blake. And then I kind of wish he'd come to Oklahoma, come back home to Oklahoma City. But then again, I don't want that softness in the lineup. That dude is soft. He's not a great power forward. He is super soft.
Could you imagine Westbrook and Blake Griffin yelling at each other for like 30 minutes, or
possibly Westbrook yelling at him? He's cowering in the corner somewhere.
I'm looking at these two just sitting there yelling at each other. That Westbrook goes and steals the ball, throws it to Blake Griffin. Blake Griffin aggressively dunks at the rim, and he comes back. He's yelling at Westbrook, "I told you to lob it up here." And
Westbrook's like, "I wanted to shoot a three. What are you talking about? You're not Kevin Durant. Why can't you shoot threes?" I miss Kevin.
All aggro with each other, just butting heads.
Billy Donovan just sitting over there, just like, what the hell? Why did I leave for this?
DeAndre Jordan, with the new cap space, DeAndre Jordan, I think, gets traded.
Where? Who wants this dude? Remember when Golden State wanted him and the Clippers matched that? Clippers should have let him go.
Phoenix.
To play with Tyson Chandler? If you want to talk about somebody being out of the league, if Chris Paul leaves the Clippers, DeAndre Jordan's career is completely done. That dude's career, he might become the world's biggest park ranger, because this dude's career is, he can't play without catching a lob. I mean, it's one thing when Gary Payton was throwing Sean Kemp lobs. Sean Kemp can get his own buckets. You can't. If Chris Paul isn't throwing him a lob, what can this guy do? He's useless. He's like a street pole. Like, this guy's useless. No, DeAndre Jordan.
All right, well, that about does it for the season. That does it for this episode, at least in the preseason. For any of you still watching preseason basketball, enjoy yourselves. For guys like me, sleep, or tonight, going to be carving pumpkins. Get ready for the debut of the 2016-2017 season. And we're going to have a next podcast early, about 8:30, maybe 9:30 in the morning on Tuesday, for which we'll be talking about the opening games on Tuesday. Definitely looking forward to it. And thanks, Mickey, for coming on. Jason, appreciate it as always. This is Josh. See you for another episode of Hitting the Hardcourt.